I'd say in terms of like the YOLOing, I'm probably one of the better players at my skill level, so I'm probably okay in that department. When it comes to playing standard, I guess I'm probably a lot more inconsistent in that regard. My Relic War abilities are they can be very hit or miss, and I think you can probably notice that. I think my biggest issue I think I come into is I think I turn back to my economy at always the worst possible moments. Like I literally turn back to my TCs for 1 second, and then I'm getting alerts left and right, and then when I
Yeah.
turn back, all my light cav are dead.
All right.
I
Yeah.
just do it
Well,
at the worst possible
we
times.
will we will see this in game. So we will go a bit faster in the start. I saw the start. Obviously, Joshua is 1700 player, and that means that yeah, he is not having idle TC time. His eco management is basically very clean in start in Dark Age. So there isn't really too many things that I would point out in either of the games. So we will go a bit faster there. You're. I think this is that Chaos to win this player you're facing there.
I have no, I don't think so,
Okay.
because
Okay.
this guy was, I think, roughly the same. I don't know, maybe it was a Smurf, I don't know.
Okay. Okay. He played definitely very clean this one. Okay. Well, maybe we can go a bit slower because I want to ask you. You obviously saw this matchup. You know. You knew you are in trouble, right? But
Yeah.
what's the biggest issue here for Vikings if in this matchup?
Um, like the game as a whole?
Yeah, like okay, what will be the regarding unit compositions in this one?
I mean, Burgundians, I think, yeah, I mean, the thing I always hated about facing Burgundians is like, if you have the counter for like their fast paladin, then you know their eco's insane. They literally just grab chemistry along with it, and then since they save so much gold on the paladin upgrade, they can literally just spam hand cannoneers all day, and then your counter unit's dead. And that's precisely how I instantly lost the game back in Clown's Got Talent. My opponent was obviously a stronger player, but that's how he ended up completely outpacing and killing me as well. I had a halb defense prepared for
Yeah.
his
Uh,
paladin opening, and then instant hand cannoneers behind, and I couldn't do anything.
Okay, that's true. But what I was referring to is that in this matchup you are simply struggling against paladins. Vikings don't have helps, as we all know, and your very good counter unit for paladins is only Zerg. And obviously, to get to Zerg, that's that is very tricky. And the issue is that if your opponent is planning to go paladins, you need to have the eco to actually get to Zergs because you want if you are behind in eco in this matchup and opponent is spamming paladins, it doesn't matter if you have relics, if you have goal control, because unless you have the eco for Zergs, you are in trouble.
I was a little late to start the game, so do you think maybe you can tell me where you are right now?
I'm at 8:30. You can watch the stream
Oh.
if you are fine with that, but
No, I kind of, because I kind of wanted to keep up and maybe give what was, maybe tell you what was going on through my head at any particular moment, if it's
yeah,
called for.
well, yeah. I mean, you can do this likely if you are watching the stream as well. But it's fine. I'm at. I can wait for you. I'm at 9:20 right now.
All right, I'm 7 something. All right, I'll be catching up. So speaking of like what was going on in my head, actually what my goal was is not actually even close to Zerx. I was just thinking, if I don't end this in like early imp, I'm dead anyways because this matchup is dreadful, I think. So what I remembered was back in the Madri versus Mr. Yo show match, is that Mr. Yo, their first game was Burgundians versus Chinese. Chinese, I think, play out pretty similarly to Vikings in a lot of ways.
Yes.
As I was thinking, Mr. Yo killed him with an Arbalest push. So let's try this. I mean, I have nothing better to go on, so let's just try it. Yes, the problem was, as you mentioned, the issue is paladins. Modry
Exactly.
did not go for Paladins that game. It was straight Flemish. So that's why the Arbalest play worked as well as it did.
Yes, exactly. But the thing is that you don't have helps there. This is the biggest issue
Yeah.
with Vikings. You don't have helps. You have fast civilization. You can get to Arbalest, but Arbalest won't deal with paladins. If you also if your goal is to push this early aim, then that's an issue because simply you can make their forward castle. You can make there some traps. You can make there for the Arbalest. It doesn't matter. Opponent will simply get to paladins. If he's not horribly misplaying this matchup as Burgundians, he will get to paladins and he will get the map control with paladins. You cannot do anything about it. The only hope for you in this matchup with Vikings is either to go for like very yellowish play, right? Let's say trash or something. It's one option. Second option would be trying to get your eco to a level where you can get to Zergs. So what I'm saying is that, and based on this, you can make decisions in the game, right? Okay, either I have to go for YOLO, I will trash. That's legit. Obviously, shouldn't work, but it's one of the options. Second option is to go to like heavily favor boom or like light cav play and try to get your eco to a better position than opponents, so you can potentially get to Zergs in time. I would say.
Like the way Stefan likes to try and take map control, maybe like make three light cav and then no more, and then just focus on the rest of your boom.
Yeah, that would be absolutely fine. Yeah, you maybe not even light cav upgrade, like just 3 scouts, 26, and just make the TCs fast enough. Potentially get there the 4th TC on stone, and you need to get to Zergs. That's your only choice. Or as I said, go for trash. What you were doing there in this game instead was that you went for the light cav war, right? Which and you heavily committed into light cav war, so you were actually quite behind in eco. And then even in the best case scenario, you will get, let's say best case scenario, you are getting 5 relics, you will get good trades, but opponent will be 10 villages ahead. He will get to paladins, and your eco simply still won't be there to get to Zergs, and then you are still losing the game even if you would outplay him heavily with the light cavs.
Which I unfortunately didn't, as you'll see.
Yeah, that's another thing. Obviously, you are playing versus one of the best saves when it comes to light cav, so that's not necessarily unexpected, right? But this was like this would be my decision making in this game. And yes, like we will see that. As I said, you were playing quite clean. You took some bad engagements with the light cavs in this one. But the biggest issue is, I think, the decision to heavily opt for light cavs, right? So I'm not sure what time you are at.
I'm 11:25 just now.
Okay, I'm 12:50.
Probably
So
yeah, we didn't decide when to start at the same time.
okay, so I will go a bit faster up to until Castle Age, and then we can potentially slow down a bit.
12:50, you said?
Yeah, I will go like till 15. And I will wait there for him. Right, I'm at 15.
Yeah. Alright. I think we can go then.
And you can go like 2 speed 2. So twice as fast as the normal game.
Yeah, that's fine.
Alright, so let's go 3, 2, 1, let's go. Okay. Yeah, and now, like, don't really pay attention to do light cav wars. Obviously, it can be always improved, right? We can see that some issues there. I don't mind the one spearman.
I basically saw he instantly outnumbered me, so I'm like, alright, this is going to be an uphill battle already.
Yeah, sure, but that can happen.
I will admit, the reason why you probably think I overcommitted into the light cav is probably because around this time was when I told myself I watched a lot of games with Modry, and I kind of tried to see how he approached his light cav wars, and this is what I'm doing right now is sort of my emulation of that, where he prepped something like up to like 15 or 16 farms, and then he got all his eco upgrades, and only afterwards he would start putting down his TCs. That's
true.
like if he was super committed to the map control, which unfortunately I didn't even get.
It's true, but what I'm watching that right now is that it's 19 minutes. You have Viking eco. Viking is very strong. In the end, you are losing the Light Cave War, but that's fine. But it's 19 minutes, and you are just now getting the second TC. So you will be like 40 villagers at minute 20, and it's simply behind your opponent. And this will be quite behind your opponent because your opponent is already at 3 TC. So as I said, even if this would go the opposite, you would get the relics, like he would potentially get 4 relics from this one or whatever. Then still you are so behind in eco that you are going to lose this game. So I would say at this point, minute 21, the game was over, arguably. And it was not only because of the Light Cave War, but it was mainly because of the opponent's better boom, because he committed faster into TCs, and that was the issue.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. So you see, it's
made more like Cav, and also you got the better boom off. Wow.
Yeah, it's it's 11-5 in the kill to the ratio, right? So and he has the better Sif. His eco is better. The Vikings eco is good, but Burgundian eco is one of the best in the games. At this point, maybe the best in the game, like by minute 20. So this is not surprising that he can afford all this. But like, yeah, well, I already explained, right? That I simply think that this wasn't the correct approach here. By the way,
what you're probably seeing on stream right now is basically a last-ditch effort on my part. I did this back in the Clown Cat League as well, where it was a Franks versus Lithuanians game where this similar thing happened to me when like I completely flubbed the Relic War. So I'm like, well, I mean, of course in the case of Lithuanians is different. It's like they got 4 relics. I'm like, they're going to just completely steamroll me in late game, so I might as well do one last little desperate bid to win the game. And this was sort of my version of that with this game.
That's fine, but
and then forward him a castle.
Yeah, that is fine. I don't really mind that. I think in this point you were so behind that there was one likely the best thing you could do. Although being successful, I think the chances is very low. But there's one good thing with this push, that you can potentially switch into full pikeman and that he won't really have too much time to transition, right? But yeah, simply going there, Arbalest, I said, if he's experienced player there, then he will go for paladins in this matchup, and therefore, yeah, the game has to be over at that point. Once again,
this is just me not understanding what happened in that first game in that show match I was talking about. So this would have worked if you were mega booming into like a Flemish Revolution, but not against Paladin. I should have just continued with a pike push. And honestly, there was still a pretty good chance I was going to die because, well, actually, performance-wise, I think Viking pikes do similarly as regular halbs against paladins. So maybe there would have been a chance for me.
One more thing though, you could see that he's going for paladins because what else would he be doing, right? Skirmishes, maybe. I wouldn't mind opening skirmishes there in this matchup with Burgundians because you will likely face either pikeman or Arbalest. But very likely it would be paladins, and you could just check the castle. You can send there 1 unit around the castle, check that there's no fletching, and that means that he's going for paladins basically.
Which I didn't do.
Yeah. So that's one thing that is very underused, but yeah, it would definitely be a legit play. Now, basically now there's just no hope. Like, he also has 5 relics, but this is all about him going for the paladins, and you cannot counter it. At this point, you cannot counter paladins. The only way how you can counter it is Zergs, right there.
Zergs, or if I just did a pike. And honestly, that's what I did that same Clown Cat League as well, where I went Hal push and not Arbalest. So yeah, I think I maybe would have had a better chance if I did that. These Cavalier are still kind of bad with upgrades, so...
Well, the thing is that, it doesn't matter. Like, going there for the... I do understand why you went for the forward castle there, when you were so behind, like it was desperate push, it's fine. But, in theory, if this would be even game, this would not be a good decision on your end, because... As I said, you will be facing paladins, and paladins will push you back. There's no chance for you. Paladins will simply push you back in this matchup. The only way how you can get back to the game, whether unit it will trade well, is Zergs. So
Yeah,
and therefore,
this is just a sad game for me.
yeah,
If
but
I'm, I you probably wouldn't even be able to tell I'm 1700 just based on this game.
I didn't mind like many things, but I think the in this game, in this particular game, decision
Ooh, you're
making to go
breaking up
heavy
like
light cap
no.
was just
Right.
wasn't correct. Right. Well, let's move to the second game. Other than that, I didn't see. Yeah, I kind of understand with your decisions why you made them, but as this was the biggest thing in this one, and the
So
real
you
reason.
think maybe I would have had a better chance of winning this one, given the position I was in, if I invested less into map control and just had the better boom and then just still done the forward thing, and possibly even not go
If you
arborless
would be
would maybe
going
have
there
won.
for like full pikeman, maybe. If you would have differentiate, you would consider to go full pikeman. You would have better boom. It's unlikely this would work because pikeman simply won't hold the ground against paladin push. Like he will have their, you will always lose the ground versus paladins. It's simple. So it wouldn't really work. No.
Maybe I could have market abused for chieftains. I don't know.
Chieftains would do something for you for sure, but still, I would say that this wouldn't really work. Yeah, it shouldn't. It shouldn't really. And
Yeah,
as you said, like
this game.
he could potentially transition into HC behind this.
Mm.
So yeah,
That's always the tricky thing with Burgundians, that really paladin upgrade that basically costs nothing, crazy eco, and then all the res they save they can just put into hand cannoneers and then just kill all your counters. It's like they're a surprising. Well, Burgundians can be slow if you're playing them a certain way, like you're trying to mega boom into Flemish, but they can be fast in so many other ways.
yeah, sure.
It's always
Well,
rough.
yeah, that's it.
I'll just I'll just pause this at 0 and then maybe we can start together a second game.
Okay, I'm at 0 right now.
All right. Double speed as well.
Yeah, we can go double speed through start
Yeah.
until Gasledge at least. Okay, so this game was honestly surprised about it because in the mid of the game I was 100% sure that one player won, and in the end I was very surprised that this player didn't win.
So did I. So did I. This
All right.
is. I thought I was having an aneurysm when this game was over.
So once again, what we are going to see, I think you will once again overcommit into light caps. I want you to pay attention to it. Other than that, I think it was mostly okay. We will obviously focus there more on imp because it will be quite a long imp battle. So we will definitely focus on this
Yeah,
one
we will
more.
we will go with fastest speed by that point. Yeah, so I'll tell you like what preliminary was going through my head when
Okay.
I saw this matchup. I didn't think this was an especially good matchup for Koreans, but at the same time I felt Koreans suited my style pretty well. I kind of think of Koreans as like a sort of like slow grinding, sort of like a stalling kind of civilization, which I think is why like guys like Tato or Viper seem to pick them a lot in arena tournaments, and they seem to be pretty successful with them because those guys are all about stalling. It's like it feels like they almost never push; they just stall until their opponents just drain themselves of resources, and then they finally just kill them. So that was that was sort of like the vague plan I had in the back of my mind. I think if maybe I can survive the Byzantine sort of like a early imp sort of spike, which I think I should be able to because Koreans are pretty good with ranged units, and that's what Byzantines like to play with. And getting armor upgrades for free is very good in that department for Koreans. So I was thinking if I can do that, and maybe go heavy onto stone, and just put a lot of defensive, like the towers, bombard towers or keeps or whatever around, and then park a bunch of army behind them and just continue to slow push, I should be able to beat Byzantines because their siege is not the best. So if I can hold that position, if I can get that position, they should never be able to push Koreans because, yeah, without top tier siege, it's really tough to push Koreans.
Well, I kind of agree with you there. I think Byzantines are the faster civ, obviously because they are discount on aim. Also, potentially can do there something with monks and such. Cheaper skirmishers definitely helps there because this should be matchup with heavily about skirmishers. But at the same time, I think Koreans are quite even in this matchup with them. And yes, as you said, they should be. They have more the quality. Yeah, because they have bombard cannons, they have capes. I think it's absolutely. It's a reasonable matchup for both sides there. So
in my experience, the matchups that Byzantines struggle the most against is against civs that can match them for like ranged army, in the same points in the game as they can, that they excel at, and then they just like and then like siege engineers for siege, with both of which Koreans can do pretty well.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with this. Right, so you're opening stable. I think that's legit in this matchup. I wouldn't. Yeah, I think opening with stable is like the most safe choice. So I think this is very fine there. Obviously, opponent opening with stable as well there. All right. As you can see, everything was so far very clean. So yeah, we are just going fast trap to cast legend.
I thought we were going double speed the whole way through.
Yeah, I think we will go double speed the whole way, I guess.
No, I was doing it the whole time. It looks like you weren't, based on what I'm seeing on stream.
I'm going to double speed all the time. I'm 1430 right now.
You know what I think is going on is, well, a big part of it is just I'm not currently using Capture Age.
Yeah, okay,
I think their
I guess
fast
that's...
forwarding stuff might be just a little bit, might be different.
Right, so I hope that we will kind of be on the same page there, and yeah. So whatever, you are facing a guy who's I don't think that he was going for a light, not even sure now. So far you were taking two very good engagements, or like you killed two units, so this is very clean so far. Nice macro there. I wouldn't really commit with scouts against spearmen there early on. You lost there quite a lot of HP, but after all, it was still very good engagement so far.
Yeah, it probably wasn't worth it, but yeah, I noticed this guy's micro didn't seem that good. So I guess maybe pretty quickly. So I guess I figured, yeah, maybe I can exploit it.
Very nice times there. Well played, but once again, I would say even if you are going for light cavs, you should be kind of trying to get it a second TC, at least start building it by minute 18. This is like the latest mark for me. We are kind of, no, we are kind of doing it, but that's the thing, like opponent, if he had there so much idle TC time, but again, if he wouldn't idle there, because he wanted to go aim for some reason super fast, that was stupid. But if he wouldn't idle there, he's solid 10 villages ahead, maybe even more. And then again,
my idle time's racking up too.
I mean, 120 is I think quite solid there. Or like, could be better, but it's fine. But like in the end, you got still got two relics because relics were very close to him, right? So sure, we'll have some advantage from this part. It was unlucky for you that you were facing so many relics close to him. But in the end, if he would just go for the normal boom and wouldn't have their 5 minutes per day of idle TC time right now, then you are, let's say, 10-15 villages behind, maybe even more than 10 at this point, and then obviously he has the faster save, and you are facing so much trouble in early aim that I think the game would be likely or should be over. So yeah, this is simple how I feel about this. Like, I don't mind going for the light cavs here, but I think you are simply adding TC so late that the player that your opponent should punish it most of the time. We saw it in the previous game. In this game, I think opponent would punish it if he wouldn't go for this weird 50 villager imp, which I really didn't understand.
I honestly didn't understand it either.
Yeah.
When I saw his imp time, I thought what went through my mind was he's doing something 2TC. Because I've done tons of 2TC stuff myself, and so I kind of know the general uptime of, like, you know, what to expect. So that's what I thought he was doing.
My biggest issue, as we are getting to this strategy, my biggest issue with this one is first that you will likely open Arbalest because you don't really have eco for skirmishes there, even as Byzantines. And then you will very likely face skirmishes from Korea, so that's one issue. Second issue is
I was expecting an R push, definitely.
Yeah. A second issue is that you will likely face some towers, which will delay you. Two towers I like by you. I think I would. Yeah, I think 3 towers is absolutely fine there. So I like this reaction. And my third issue is that the opponent wasn't too heavy on stone, so he's not going for the forward castle. And if you are trying to push with like very low eco, you don't have time to wait for chemistry and bombard cannons. So there had to be, if there would be forward castle, there would be traps. I could see this having some chances, but this is just so slow push.
So I basically went into full defense mode at this point. Early fortified wall, like 20 minutes earlier than I normally would grab it. Towers. I got my castle up and I just tried to get Upsung out as quickly as I possibly could, because that was what was gonna drive those cannons away. Well, kind of. He still took brute force 1 or 2 towers down, I think.
Yeah, I think this is a decent direction what you are doing. I think just full skirmishes would also be fine. But yeah, I don't mind either way. I think this is solid.
And skirms in the back. My eco was not quite as strong as I would have anticipated. Yeah, I think I think I needed maybe a bit fewer on gold even. Yeah,
Okay.
I just put double the villagers on gold right now. So I think those guys should have gone on onto wood instead.
I think this is like, I don't see any like real issues with the eco balance. One big thing that I see, late chemistry. Like chemistry, especially in this position, has to be the first thing you click in him. So late chemistry there, not a big fan of. Sure,
Yeah,
you can potentially.
that was just me trying stressing out about the towers, and that was the issue.
Yeah, I understand, but still, like there isn't. It's not the excuse there. Like chemistry has to be your first thing there, regardless of your level. You simply need bombard cannons there. If opponent is pushing, if he has the forward position, you need to have your own bombard cannons, especially when you have better than him. So well,
Next time, if I end up getting another coaching session sometime in the next month or so, I'm just gonna make sure I have Capture Age Pro
sure.
rebought, because Capture Age's fast forward and just the regular in-game fast forward, it looks like the double speed.
It's
They're
different, yeah.
clearly operating on different speeds, because I'm just constantly ahead of you right now.
Well, yeah, well, whatever. Getting to this game, I think you are now in very decent position. Because you have the skirmishes, you have very even eco, you will likely get those 3 relics in the end. And you are pushing this one back, and you have better bombard cannons. Now you are doing siege engineers. So I would say the early aim there, except the chemistry, that was very fine. As I said, my biggest issue was with the castle age like DCs once again. But now you are in a very decent position. One thing, like now obviously the main concern should be getting more bombard cannons. I would like to see their second siege workshop. Obviously, it would help you a lot. Might even win this game if you would have second siege workshop there, or might make huge difference here, because the bombard cannons, those 4 bombard cannons and one of the opponent are by far the most important units right now.
This ram push was scary, but at the same time, I'm pretty confident with my bombard cannon micro.
Yeah, like this was, I don't know, going there with so many Captrans felt weird. I wasn't really understanding this play by opponent.
Well, this was maybe I thought this might have been like his last hoorah of sorts. And
No,
so when all this
simply
was dead, then he would call the game.
This is not spot for Rams. I mean, Rams wouldn't be horrible if he would have their siege drums. Then I wouldn't mind this push too much. But biggest thing, like Rams are way better in the open field. Not really here when they will be facing so many bombard cannon shot. Either way, you are now pushing back. So I would say you should be focusing on few things right now. I don't like the arbalest choice, by the way. I would get there. If you want there something against potentially like cavalry or whatever switch, then I think you should be getting their war wagons.
Maybe. That was something I remember Tato also doing. This one in Clown Cup 3. It's like he was worried about the cap switch, which I was, and instead of doing a full 180 just continue with Arbalest. I think it was his game versus Vodka. It was like Saracens versus Britons. So I kind of tried doing that, and I was confident enough that because Byzantine Cavalry is not that good, so I think just having 20-25 arbs should just disincentivize it enough.
Sure.
Cav switch enough.
Yeah, but I would say War Vikings would be better there, and instead of Arbalest.
That was also something when I saw my res sort of banking up like this, I probably should have considered more expensive army.
Yeah, I would say I'm not saying that necessarily Arbalists are always the bad play, but and War Vikings always the good one. But that was the position where you definitely should have gone for War Vikings. Although we had their amazing trade.
Didn't expect to find a castle on the right side of my base, so we just threw away like 15 Arbalest.
Yeah. Either way, yeah, I saw this one. But either way, now now we have kind of straightforward position. And that's
now I saw that he was trying for Redemption Monks, so there goes Faith for me. Probably
yeah,
unnecessary.
that's a waste of resources. I just want to say that I think you are now doing decent job, but you are, especially now, you will start pushing wrong direction basically. His base is here, and you can just make, let's say, 2 towers on the stone, and just put the bombard cannons here and just put pressure on his base. Instead,
that's
you will
probably what I should have done.
Yeah.
The thing is, I have a lot of, and this is something Taro would also point out about my gameplay when he was casting my tournament stuff, is like, you gotta learn how to kill your opponent. You gotta not focus on this crap out here. Gotta focus on his economy. The thing is, I have a lot of PTSD from the Vubli days where I did precisely that, focused on his base, and then he had so much crap on the outside that he just massed up all of this army on the outside and just pushed into my base on the other side without me noticing, and it just killed me.
But you have so much more army.
I was just so sick and tired of losing games like that. I just really felt the need to clear this.
Yeah, that's simply not optimal decision there. Like the most important thing right now, if you would be just pushing into his base, there is nothing. If you are pushing here, this is where his army is, this is where his production is, and he's Byzantines, right? He doesn't need much, and he can still produce skirmishes forever. So most important thing there, just like, if you have there the chance, now he's open. You could just send there, let's say, 10 skirmishes into his base. Like, cripple his eco. 10 skirmishes is nothing for you, you are full pop.
It would have been over.
Yeah, so just whatever, go into his base, push there. I would say the bombard cannons should be focusing on the forward buildings of his. Like, when he's open, try to send there a small army. Yeah, like there, I think you are still in very, very good position. But now this is another thing, like, this castle on the right side is kind of irrelevant for you. It's, yeah, there is nothing anymore, and if you are pushing towards the front, if you are using the army in the front, you should be taking good trades. You are simply doing he cannot make better army than you. That's the big thing.
I seriously had this many on wood? I don't remember having this many on wood.
It's Koreans, you are doing skirmishes, bombard cannons. I don't really hate your eco management in this game. I think it was legit. Like, also 23 on food, I think is absolutely fine there.
I think would have been definitely helpful.
Now, obviously, there should be more focus on the bombard cannons.
When I saw how much military he was actually able to spit out, I realized maybe he actually wasn't on 2TC, or maybe he was on 2TC, and then he just stalled enough where he could just
finish the boom. Yeah.
Build up more. Yeah, finish his boom. So I was like, this might be a longer game than I anticipated.
Yeah, by the way, there one more thing that I noticed sometimes. Now we are doing a good job, but sometimes we are going for the shot on skirmishes there. If there are rams and bombard cannons in this fight, always focus on the rams.
Right.
You are mostly doing a good job with that, but simply sometimes you were basically missing volleys on like killing 2 skirmishes instead of going for like 2 rams.
Yeah, there's gonna be many more rams this game.
All right, and now I want to ask you.
So many it's already more rams than I think I've ever faced in a 1v1.
I think I think he played very good game in him. Has have to be said. I think he played very, very high level game. But do you think that you couldn't do some other unit at this point? Not talking about the War Vikings. I would prefer War Vikings over Albalas, but
no,
now
yeah, literally what I was thinking of when I had I'm not sure if you noticed at the moment. I remember I had like 1.5k plus of every single resource banked, aside from stone, of course. I was thinking, when I saw this army, I think what I should have gone was siege onagers with
Exactly.
the
Yeah.
UT, the
Yeah.
Shingijeon, because I guess I was a little scared of the BBC still out on the field. But the thing is, yeah, I probably shouldn't have been because my siege onagers have 10 range.
Yeah.
So if the onus is on him for him to micro around a unit that just barely that he to micro his BBC, which just barely outrange my SO. So I was thinking, yeah, afterwards, after this game was over, I was thought, yeah, I should have gone for that.
Exactly. Yeah. That was the most important thing. Now, right now, if you would go even on Aegis, there would likely do the job. Like on Aegis in the back, there would just be able to take down the rams of his better than the BBCs would, and simply would be amazing versus skirmishes. And then obviously some Arbalest would be nice to snipe potential Hussars, but like his Hussars aren't the biggest threat. The biggest threat are his rams, and yeah, you potentially can win this game still with skirmishes and bombard cannons, but you need to have really good micro with the bombard cannons, constantly focusing on his rams. That's the most important thing. If you slip up, let's say once twice, this can easily snowball because ram skirmishes are very strong there.
Yeah, it's probably the worst sort of situation you can probably put me in late game. Is I'm working with some unit that requires a lot of micro to work well, and then the opponent is just brainlessly spamming and spamming and spamming and spamming, like minimal if not any micro, and just trying to just overwhelm me. That's how for example, like I know you said your favorite unit to play with on arena is like cav archers in late game or something,
Yeah, that's true.
and that is precisely how I end up losing in post stimp with cav archers against a guy, well, like the guys just spamming like rams and halbs like from like 20 barracks or something, and he just like chasing me on one side and then pushing from another side. It's like it gets way too much for me.
Yeah, I understand that, but like I'm saying right now, you are simply facing composition that and you are not reacting well to this composition, and that
Yeah.
composition is
Also,
there for
the
a
issue
while.
was, the issue was my eco. This is where I didn't feel it earlier because I was winning the engagements. My eco balance was not there. Like I thought I had more farms than I actually did. You'll see me trying to make
I
more
don't
in the
think you
back.
need.
I think right about now.
I don't think you need actually much more farms there. Like the thing is that I once again want to stress this out. You are not going for the optimal composition there, right? There should be. You can do Onagers. Onagers would do it. You could do Champs. Champs would do it because sure it's versus Byzantines, but
Full trash.
yeah, like Champs would do it. Hussars would very likely do it as well. You simply need there's something against the Rams, something that kills the Rams. So
Korean Hazar. I'm just cringing at the thought of that.
it would be fine there in this position.
I mean, I already despise using Hazar as it is on arena, and just to go for a Hazar that's the worst upgraded Hazar in the game. Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, but at this point, I think Hussars would be legit there. But yeah, whatever. They are just like some. You could go. I'm not saying that any of the units is like insta decision, right? Going for Karajan Hussars, going for Champs, which are not great, versus Byzantines, it's also not easy. Going for Onagers when you know that opponent has there some monks, that he has there some bombard cannons that he was producing early. I'm not saying that any of the decisions is simple to make in this one. Definitely requires some good thought process to go for any of those. But yeah, it was needed there. And another thing is that opponent can just spam those units, right? He's just spamming so many rams, so many skirmishes, and
the rams were just so annoying, man. I was thinking, how does this guy still have gold after he must have made like 100 rams plus his game?
yeah, but well, he has the extra resources, right? He has extra gold, and he had also extra gold on the right side. So like both the extra golds are in his favor. So that was the reason.
Also, from what he told me, he sold off all his stone.
Okay. Yeah, that's possible actually. Given that, yeah, that's possible. I didn't realize that, but yeah. But yeah, what I'm saying is that if you are in this position and opponent is just spamming army, he will likely have the better macro, right? So he will likely spam more units than you, because you have to spend your time way more microing with the bombard cannons. You have to constantly focus on the bombard cannons. You just have to click with the rams on the bombard cannons, patrol skirmishes forward, and then he can just focus on macroing, making more army, getting the farming or whatever. For you, it's way tougher there. So this is another
Worked with my
advantage of
bombard
him.
cannon micro finally, as you feared. They were I was body blocking them unknowingly with my skirms, and then
Yeah, either way, I mean the helps there. Not hating it. Obviously, you need potentially. I'm not sure. Like, House was the worst unit worst meal unit that you can make that you could make there. But I don't think it was bad decision necessarily. But you needed there some meal unit and likely other than helps. And yeah, obviously as we are talking now, this is snowball. Like the moment he pushes to some point, the moment he kills the bombard cannons, you cannot come back there in this one, because he will have their simpler rams, skirmishes, and he can spam forever.
yeah, Halbesso definitely, like Halbesso would have definitely been a sick thing to transition into.
Yeah, I
So
wouldn't.
had all,
Yeah, help
had
as
all
well,
that
but
res.
even on H's, like 5 on H's there would win you the game. That's the thing. Champ transition, as I said, not natural, but yeah, would also be fine there. And another thing, like Arbalest simply aren't trading nearly as good as War Wagons are. Like War Wagons, if you can get there 30 for the War Wagons, they will kill the skirmishes. Sure, it's not the greatest trade, but they will do it. Like Arbalest simply have to go back. So, oh, like, yeah, this one castle in front of your base is killing so much army. Might be like 100 kills on this castle alone. But doesn't
But
show me.
sadly, it's gone.
So those were the things. Like an imp pushing straight into opponent base would work there better, and some different unit composition. Other than that, Castle Age, I think late DCs. Early aim legit, except that you should have made chemistry. Chemistry first thing. I think this is how I would sum it up. No, don't see there anything else right now.
His overchop is so huge on the right side of my base. It was bound to become the
Ah,
sort
well.
of battleground eventually.
But you are not facing the sick rating Sith, right? Sure, he can now make hussars, but it's not this is not the biggest issue there. The issue
Ram
is
train
the
versus
the
top.
unit that won him the game is the siege drums. And once again, I'm saying he played a very good game in him. Like his sim was really real high level actually.
Yeah, this guy, from what I saw, looked at his rating. He was at peak around 2050, and
Yeah,
then he was
yeah.
like 1800.
I
this
remember
game.
playing him. Yeah, he is decent. So yeah, it's not surprising that he has the better late game, and that's fine. But simply, you could have won the game like before that, right?